Hello, everyone, and welcome to another SpeedGaming presentation. Today we have the Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament, a match between KillerApp23, the 2 seed, and vortexofdoom, the 3 seed in Group W. This is the first game. Joining me on stream is TJ Maelstrom. How are you doing today?
Doing fine, Sorcerer Finch. How you doing?
I am doing A-okay.
Great.
So we have game one between these two with our hard standard mode. So we're going to be seeing escape. We're going to be seeing not too much in the way of safety. We're not going to see any mail upgrades. Kind of what are you looking for kind of to start out the seed?
Well, obviously we're going to see a weapon, but are you asking what I want to see here or what do I expect to see?
Either or.
I expect to see a bow, since there could be 2 of those, or rather 1 of them, since 1 of them is on planet Zebes, according to Ganon anyway. I've seen a lot of bows today, and I've seen not so many bombs. So I expect we're not going to see any bomb drops. That's my expectations.
All right, and bombs will definitely be a that's definitely, I think, one of the tougher ones to get. Either that or the Cane of Berna could also be a fun challenge.
Yeah, because Berna doesn't put anything into logic as far as item goes. You just have that thing, and the best you can hope for is maybe some cape somewhere down the line. And then you'll just find cape anyway.
Right. All right, and our runners should be getting ready to go here in a couple seconds. And please give our runners a follow. It really helps out, really helps them out, really helps out a lot. But yeah, we'll be getting underway momentarily.
Great. I hope so, because then, until then, we have nothing really to talk about.
We can, I suppose we can still speculate, although, because we do have things, we're gonna be finding kind of, oh, and there we go.
And we're off to the races. Cool. I've been saved.
All right, and Uncle is the one who's randomizing everything.
What a jerk. How could he do this to us? Ruining our expectations like that. Tisk.
Vortex racing with the Link sprite, and KillerApp racing with the, well, Sprite.
Sprite. I get the joke. It's cute. It's hilarious.
Especially since we're going to be seeing that the entire time. There are no Coca-Cola upgrades, I don't believe.
No Coke or Pepsi.
All right, and we're about to see what Uncle has for us.
I knew it. Called it. I'm good at this game.
And that is that bow. Now with the couple other items that we have in Escape, how many do you think there's going to be any other weaponry that we'll find in Escape?
That's purely speculative on my part. If I were to say yes, I'd be hopeful. If I were to say no, I'd be a skeptic. And that sounds like a non-answer, because it is.
But that is fair enough.
I don't think we're going to get anything else until Kakariko.
But that bow is an excellent starting item. It gives you, you can beat Eastern out of logic. You can beat, well, and it does have a lot of ammo, because no matter which item you start out with, whether if it uses magic, it'll give you a full magic bar. If it uses arrows, it'll be full magic. And, well, there we go. There's a sword.
Well, shut me up. Should have realized there's at least 4 of those in this one.
Yeah, and although we will not see any butter, we will not see the golden sword today.
No. Should we go for the bomb drop TJ is wrong trifecta? Although I was right about the bow, I'll take that victory at least.
I'll say I've seen a good number of bomb escapes, and they are definitely they're definitely challenging. Bow is a pretty nice one though, and a good sword spin on both of them.
Very nice. I must say I do enjoy bomb escape. I know that sounds a little weird, but having guaranteed bombs in escape, especially if you know how to use them well, it's a little relieving. You don't have to worry about that drop down back down. I have seen a glove in the back of Escape a few times, and that's not comfortable to miss.
Oh, no, it's not. But yeah, okay, and Vortex just using, actually both of our runners just using the bow and arrow to take down the guard.
Faster and safer. Now, if she had that key there, why didn't she just leave? Who am I to question the motivation?
And I suppose, you needed the big key to get out, and that's just the small key in that chest. And as our runners escape, and they're probably going to be escaping around the 6-minute mark.
It is rather humorous watching Zelda chase after the Sprite can.
I suppose it is, isn't it?
Really thirsty, being in that cell for all this time.
All right, and both of our runners getting back to the main floor of escape. This is going to be, and we're going to be seeing something that we'll only see in standard starts for Randomizer. We will see a free light cone, even though neither of our runners have the lamp yet.
To admit, I wasn't paying too much attention to the guards that were slain. Did you see anything drop out of them? Because they haven't been looking for bombs either. So I don't notice if they saw what the prize packs were and just didn't bother.
That's a good point. I don't recall seeing any item drops from the guards yet.
Well, maybe they'll kill some ropes along the way, because they do share item pool drops with the green guards, I believe. Vortex looked like he was trying, but missed the rats. They are elusive.
They are, and these rope snakes are up, and Vortex and both of our runners just going by, and it looks like chat confirming that it is a vanilla guard. Prize packs and no bombs, but there are 300 rupees in that.
Got some fat stacks. Surprised nobody took that. Just sit in the sewers like that.
And yep, it looks like it is just rupees and hearts. So
I think I might be wrong again, but I think a 5 rupee drop could share a bomb pack. No, never mind. There's a green one. We're done. We're not getting out of here with any bombs.
But the good news is, and at this point, I'm pretty sure both of our runners, if they're tracking the prize packs, will have confirmed that. So they're both on even footing.
I don't think KillerApp noticed the green one. She just picked up the 20. He's like, yeah, all right.
But we have successfully escaped in about 5.5 minutes for both of our runners. So very well done. And it's just a little bit more money in Sanctuary.
Well, there was a sword, so at least I have that.
Right, they've got a sword, they've got a bow. So they're okay. And I saw Hera is looks like is just a pendant.
Hera is red pendant, and I saw Eastern was a blue crystal, but I didn't catch Desert.
Desert was also a crystal.
All right. Got some magic on the tree pull. Looks like Vortex will be checking. Well, it's either bush crab or lumberjack, or both. Here we go. He is checking lumberjack. We'll get to see what's on there.
All right, and that's going to be good. That's going to be good information. Aga will not need to be defeated for this. KillerApp is going to go grab that heart container, though. Especially since there's only going to be 14 hearts, you might as well. And since it's the full container, you might as well go ahead and grab it.
This early, I don't think you skip any full heart container standing right in front of you. That cape is a giant red flag in a literal and figurative sense, because now that gives the potential of getting into the castle tower that leads to Aga. Although without the lamp, that doesn't mean anything yet. And there's still a lot more to check. Interesting that KillerApp took a save and quit. It is going right over the Kakariko, although he may be fake flippering or checking the island first. Or buying bombs here. He's buying bombs. I see.
Buying bombs, check the island, and the island isn't anything.
Yeah. If he's coming this way though, for this direction to do it, he may be doing an eastern play. It looks like that's the case. He hasn't saved and quit.
That's a good point. And And I mean, you get a couple, and you get what's in Sash's closet. You get out of logic. You can complete Eastern. It's possible.
Yes.
And it is a crystal, so yeah, I can dig this play.
Looks like they're both going for it, with a slight deviation from Vortex having that that lumberjack knowledge. And in this place, we have some more ammunition, some more money, but not much. All right, 21 bucks and some rice.
All right, so nothing there, but it is interesting that both of our runners are thinking the same thing. Like, we've got the bow, let's go ahead and do Eastern, and having a sword. That can't be. That's a pretty important part, I think, as well. Just in case you run out of arrows, like as you're going through, you've got something to fall back onto.
Speaking from experience, it is also dangerously hard to pinpoint your location in the dark without any sort of sparkly indicator. Even with a lot more equipment, that sword is a really important tool to help you with dark rooms.
Right. Although Eastern does have a fairly simple dark room, it also has one of the more difficult ones as well, which is pretty nice to have any kind of fire source for that one. And our first item is a heart container.
It also has a lot of narrow passageways, so in the dark that could be a little tedious without something to poke at the light with. Now, I'd be interested to know if we find anything important here, especially if it's locked behind the darkness. What are both of them going to do with that information? Are they going to continue unabated, or are they going to assume that they are out of logic and proceed as if they're just getting stuff done with what they got in here?
Right. Well, and there are plenty of checks where that lamp could be that would make all of this in logic. Because neither of them check Kakariko well, or none of them check Kakariko at all. We've got a couple good options.
And I still do expect this to be an Agassi with that red cape being there early. And that sword, too. The only thing missing would be a lamp. And a hookshot is another huge Aghanim red flag.
Yeah, we've definitely got... We have some interesting... This is an interesting start to the seed. About 10 minutes, 10 and a half minutes into the seed.
Yeah.
And it looks like the third item is either in the back... Either way, our third item is fire locked, whether it's in the big key chest or if it's on the Armus Knights themselves.
Well, we're going to find out one way or the other. Both of them are heading in the same direction through the dark. This early, I don't think you want to gamble and skip this.
No, and especially again with having that sword and having the sword sparkles, that helps so much when navigating around.
Does it ever? I always hated doing this without the boots. I always wish that one day I could do it. But thanks to Zelda Randomizer, I could do it. We're not going to see it today. That little bridge walk bugged the heck out of me.
All right, and the Armus Knights will have that third item.
Oh, good for the Armus Knights. Why can't they ever have it when I'm doing that?
And also kind of interesting, because both of our runners do have cape.
Uh-oh.
And now Vortex will be using that cape. Just enough magic.
Oh, that sliver of magic was... Ugh, that was dangerously close.
And KillerApp getting that key in the dark. There is the Green Igor that does have that key, but it's awfully hard to find him in the dark. And Vortex opting to take a quick safety break.
Yeah, better than a death, I'll tell you that. With only half a heart left, you go into that dark room, you don't want to do that. I respect that decision.
Right, and by skipping on the heart container in Lost Woods, that's the difference in hearts right now between the two.
So Vortex did something I like to do with that. He likes to shoot arrows until something gets stuck in something, because you know that's the Igor. And when it starts to move forward, when the arrow starts to move forward, then you can shoot the Igor and not have to worry about where it is.
Right, at that point, then you can panic.
Yeah, if you miss, then you can panic. Of course, you can just walk out and reset the room, so that's nice.
Right, and when things get too hairy, that's definitely a good option. And Killer App getting that third item, just 20 bucks, but that is crystal number 1.
Put it in the books. But nothing of importance in Eastern Palace. But a crystal's a crystal, and we need 6 more.
Yeah. And Killer App opting to save and quit. We'll see where ends up going, and it looks like maybe doing the South Shore checks next.
Very efficient kill from
Or,
Vortex.
okay, we'll be doing the South Shore check. Oh, never mind. We'll be going to Kakariko from the south.
Wonder what his plan is in this, because he has 10 bombs. He doesn't need to cut through bushes for bombs. He doesn't have a shovel. He might be just... I'm not sure why he's going this way. I guess we'll find out. Maybe there's a method to his madness. Not that he's insane, but, you know.
And it might be quicker, and by going this way, you can immediately go and check. There is that lamp. There's our fire source.
Well, it'd be unwise to skip that.
Right, and with that, that is Aga in logic.
Indeed.
Once Killer App picks that up. And Vortex is doing the South Shore checks.
All right, so we have a little deviance here. Let's see what we got. More money. And you see a lot of that.
All right, and very nice. Can have that trash. It's just a lantern. It's just a lamp.
Yeah, well, he's got the glow. All the masters know that we need the glow. We need the glow to grow. There's the heart piece on the library. So, yeah. That's 2 boot locations we don't need to do anything with.
Right. Now, we still have a couple things that we might need the boots for, including as deep as Ganon's Tower, which would definitely be not something that our runners may want to do.
I would like to think that by then they have the boots. But you know, when do you ever get what you want, right?
But if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need.
There's a pearl. All right. This is definitely starting to look like Aga. And we have found a master sword inside of Mini Moldorm Cave. And the hook shot. There's the other red flag. I'm calling it now. This is hard Aga. Calling it now.
What a start to the seed.
Especially if we don't find a glove here.
Oh goodness!
And if we don't find a glove, then there's the red cane. There's a lot of stuff on this sphere. Holy moly! Yeah, there's a glove now. All right, I was just about to say, do we walk back into escape? But now we don't have to worry about that.
And Vortex has to be a little careful. Those crabs will do 2 damage each.
Yeah, they're a real pain in the neck. And we got the last of the big checks we see here. Although I expect our runners to flip-flop here and go the other way any minute. Killer App has the glove. Vortex has the hook shot. You put them together, you might go to the mountain.
But yeah, this is interesting because and Vortex, it looks like, is going to be retracing that route and going to Kakariko. But yeah, not only are we Aga, we are also only I guess one item, either the hammer or the Titan's mitts, away from not needing to do Aga.
This is true, but it definitely looks a lot like it right now. They can get up the mountain. There's a lot up the mountain. Let's see what's back here in the back of Escape. We'll finally get a look at this. Well, that map had to be there. Nothing special. But we do have Zora money, and that glove does put Zora into logic.
Right. So we'll see kind of, and part of how this race may go might be just who does AGA first, and then was AGA required?
Right. Like, who's right about AGA is possibly more important.
All right, and KillerApp now doing those South Shore checks. They're just right now our runners are retracing each other's steps. So now is a good time to remind everyone, please follow our racers, KillerApp23 and Vortex of Doom. Starting off with a nice show for us.
Hookshot is given a little bit of extra mobility here. It's such a comfortable item. It works so fluently. I will be very interested to see where KillerApp goes once he finds, once he gets through Mini Moldorm Cave. He'll have several different options. He'll have the option to go to, oh, obviously Ice Rock Cave is right nearby. He can do that. He'll have the option to go to the mountain. He can go to Zora from there with a fake flipper, or walk, or he can go to AGA.
Right. There's just so many. There are so many options so early in the seed as well. I mean, we're less than 20 minutes in.
Crack shooting from KillerApp on those Mini Moldorms.
And getting that hook shot as well as that Master Sword.
All right, he's completed the puzzle, but he's walking out, so he has more he wants to do around this area. Neither of them have checked the Guinness Cave, which has a history of being difficult in times like this. Sometimes the hammer likes to hide there.
That's true. So let's see. What item? Let's see. What would we want to look for progression next?
Well, obviously you want to see the hammer. Titan's Mitt opens up a ton of stuff that becomes very inconvenient and stressful. You do not want to see that early for progression. The hammer is a very clean and smooth connect the dots pathway, so they're looking for hammer right now.
That's a good point. And yeah, Titan's Mitts, and also doing that tempered sword damage as well.
Mm-hmm.
KillerApp is definitely looks like is going to be going and doing that fake flipper.
Yes, I do love the Sprite can water animation. It is hilarious. Please enjoy this.
Oh my goodness, that is fantastic.
How great is that? It's delightful.
And often to stay in logic as well. Except for the waterfall check, but
right, it's on the way. The hobo is not. The hobo under the bridge is a little bit out of the way, and it's hard not in logic right now. And water walking is a lot faster on the way too, and a lot safer for that matter. That bottle is annoying.
Just get a bee in a jar and exchanges it for another bee in a jar.
You drop this. I don't expect him to go and turn in that bottle. It's out of logic. It's out of the way. Right, it looks like we got some bombs on the ledge. We don't need to worry about that. Vortex has decided to go up the mountain. I'm not surprised neither of them have Gamble and AGA yet. There's a lot of options other than that right now.
Yeah, the only part that would maybe feel bad is if it's a last location AGA. And Zora just giving an arrow of destiny, a single arrow for 500 rupees.
I'd have taken it. I paid for it.
Right, it's a collector's item.
Right.
Meanwhile, Gary giving a nice 300 rupee tip.
That's a fat tip. Worth the trip.
Yep, and also worth the new respawn point. Like if you save and quit.
It looks like we won't have to worry about money in this seed, although getting a little dicey with the hearts there. Sure, he's grateful for every heart container he's picked up by now.
Yep, and it's just all right. So we have a bottle up on Spectacle Rock, and inside we just have a heart container.
Wonder if he goes down there to pick that up with his. Nope, he's taking the risk. I respect it, although I hope he doesn't land on a dead rock. Oh, that was close. Oh, model mummy, that was real close.
Ooh. That was a little close for comfort right there.
Oh man.
Well, speaking of dead rocks, but gets the stun on that one very nicely. Well done. And Paradox Cave will be able to go through Paradox Cave.
Yeah, they'll get some health here at least.
And with the hook shot, that'll also help with the mini Moldorms and the upper part, lower part. Not quite sure, but does pull the first shield.
Yeah, you can throw a boomerang to hit that switch. So he's well equipped for this. I'm very interested to see what's here, though. There he goes. Hit the switch. Oh, magic powder doesn't do anything for us right now. Can't get to it, but it's nice to have. Fire rod.
Oh, that fire rod though, that's a nice find.
Okay, so this is telling me they want you to go to Aga and then they want you to go to Skullwoods. That's my opinion right now.
Oh, and Vortex is back down to 1 heart because of having to bomb jump. This is some bold play. I appreciate this. This is tough.
With the hook shot and the narrow corridors and spiral cave, I think you'll be okay. And this cape too. Although that Tektite was creeping up on him. Yeah, he'll be fine getting through this. He may not survive the trip out, but he don't need to do that anyway. KillerApp is going to get all the stuff that Vortex just found. Gets a blue blocker down below.
And considering, considering at this point you're probably saving and quitting anyways, so
yeah, there's really nothing else you can do up the mountain.
Now this is also, and it's just 3 bombs. Now it's still kind of interesting because we're still an Aga, we're still an Aga seed.
Yes, and neither of them have checked Agina's cave yet.
And KillerApp will probably, with the heart container, will probably give us the that island check.
That is true. We didn't see that. Vortex is opting to go right into the castle tower. Will he go on the back for escape? I don't believe he will. He never went back there. Was that a sword? I think I saw a sword.
Magic.
It was
half
magic.
Half magic. That's a If you're already going to Hookshot Cave, that's a pretty nice pickup, especially with the limited resources that we have here. I would pick it up.
What situation to pick it up? I tend to want to pick it up. It would really help me for a lot of things. If I was low on safeties, low on bottles, yeah, I'd take the time to go do it. But it's really a matter of opinion here.
And Vortex is climbing Castle Tower. Will be the first of our runners to fight Aghanim.
Yes. KillerApp does have more knowledge about certain checks, but those checks turned out to be bupkis anyway, so Vortex is slightly ahead here unless he decides to do the back of escape or soar at any time. KillerApp does have a bottle ahead of him, but that's about it. He's ahead by a bottle and some mildly important information.
Right, and a heart container, but
who's counting? Vortex did do the back of escape. I must have missed that. I apologize.
But yeah, when you're down to it, when it's down to Agina without the flute, I mean this does make sense. This is time. And some interesting strategies also between the two. Vortex opting to use that bow and arrow a lot more. KillerApp opting to use the fire rod.
Either one is fine. The fire rod, you will get a full magic refill upon completing this. But there are some certain rooms in here you may want to just use the cape for. Like this one. I hate this room. I hate this room so much.
Oh, yeah, that... or the one that Vortex is in, just those narrow corridors. I mean, the guards usually aren't too bad, but...
Yeah, they're sometimes inept, too. They usually like to walk off ledges on their own.
That's true, but Vortex does make it to Aghanim.
Well, they did walk in first, so he should. But I'd be more interested to know where they decide to go after this. Because with the hook shot, you can go across to the west side of the Dark World. Maybe you want to stop along Catfish along the way, who knows. But you can also go to Pod here and get most of it done. Because you have the lamp, you have the bow, all of it is in logic except for Helmasaur there. And if you find a hammer, that's huge. Especially if it's a crystal.
Right, and especially because you can still mostly do everything, and it's not too slow to re-enter and get to where you would be for the boss anyways.
True.
It's not as arduous as some other dungeons, such as like Swamp or Turtle Rock, or Pod's probably one of the nicer ones in the probably one of the more nicer ones.
Less rough. And certainly less linear.
And fortunately, because they have lamps, much fewer turtle rooms in the dark.
The fire rod will help with that.
Right, now I haven't been counting, but there have been Aghanim's definitely been throwing a lot of blue balls around.
That count is at 4.
Whew.
Ugh.
And there's 5 then. Now, one of the nice things, though, is both of our runners are getting the exact same pattern between the two. They will both have the exact same... they'll both have the exact same blue ball to regular shot. And...
all right, green pendant.
And Turtle Rock is the other medallion, and our 5-6 crystals are Swamp and Skull.
It's like nothing of important on the pyramid. Not surprising. Now, since Pod is a pendant, are you more likely to dip it or less likely to dip it because it's a pendant? Well, it looks like Vortex is more likely to dip it because that's the way he's going.
And that does mean that we will be finding flippers. Flippers can be an interesting go mode item.
Well, we would need flippers, of course, to get into Swamp Palace. Flippers usually like to hang out in Turtle Rock. Go mode blue things like to be in Turtle Rock. Superstition, I know. KillerApp has cleaned up his Aghanim fight. We'll get full magic and hearts, and let's see where he decides to go. He has not done a map check. He might do it after this check here. They do have the red cane. That's really early, and KillerApp is heading north. He's heading through the hookshot route. So we have a hard deviation here.
All right, and we are bow locked, which fortunately we had a bow as one of our as item number 2. So
I'm pretty sure the bow is the only reason he's here in the first place. That being Vortex.
Right, and because if you didn't have the bow, this would be probably just leave while you can.
Yeah. The red cane was early. I believe it was in... was it in the closet or was it in Kakariko?
I think it was in Kakariko. And Catfish has a part container for us.
At least it's a whole one.
Right. There aren't going to be too many more of those because even though it's a maximum of 14 heart, I think it's still a limited number of heart containers versus heart pieces. And correct me if I'm wrong.
That I'm not certain about. I know they will cap out at 14 hearts. That's for certain.
And Vortex preparing for a death warp.
We're picking up a red potion. I believe he's ready to go do Skullwoods. He's readying himself for Skullwoods. Nothing interesting found in pod just yet.
But boy, would you like to see all of the items not on Helmastore.
Ha! Well, we're not going to see that until we get a hammer. And if we find a hammer, I don't know if we stay.
That's good. Ooh, that's a good point.
It is green pendant. Nothing on the bumper ledge, just a heart piece that no one will ever pick up. Now KillerApp has done his map check. This is certainly doing pod here is certainly a humongous gamble. And half an hour in, it's pretty early for that kind of gamble when you have a Crystal Skullwood staring you right in the face.
That's a good point. But there are a lot of items back here in pod, I'll also say. So
one of them could be locked by Helmastore. So at least 4, but at most 5. If anything's gonna be here, it's probably gonna be in this basement. Somewhere dark.
yeah. All right, but with that, looks like we will check out Harmless Hellway.
Yeah, I hate to call it right now, but it looks like a stay of execution. All right, there's our big key.
All right, so that frees up at least another. That does allow for another check at least.
Yes.
But oh, okay. And Vortex is preparing for a hammer yum. Nothing quite there yet, and
there's our first green 20.
And whether that's, I guess that could either be silvers or a mail upgrade.
And looks like Pod is dead, so this did not work out for vortexofdoom. That puts him a little bit behind, I gotta tell you.
That definitely hurts a bit.
Speaking of hurting a bit, I don't think I'm comfortable with KillerApp going to the back of Skullwoods with this level of health, although with Master Sword and a Fire Rod, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. And I think he did also pick up. I think he also did pick up a potion as well.
He did stop for a potion along the way.
But then again, Mothula is definitely one of those bosses, though, that can prove to be a little bit tricky.
It's true. You're not fighting the moth. You're fighting the room.
Right. It's really a patience room. If you have good patience, that's one thing.
Patience.
That's a wonderful start.
I always say you need 3 things to beat Mothula: a sword, a fire rod, and patience. And one of those is more important than the other 2. I'll let you figure out which one.
And in perfect timing, Mothula does go down. And that is crystal number 2. Well done, KillerApp.
Indeed. Nice and clean, and he hasn't found any items yet, I don't think. He's going to clean up the dungeon before moving on.
But now that you've gone to the back, you can work your way back towards the front, and then that will set you up pretty nicely of outcasts.
Quite. Although if we don't find a hammer, Thieves Town could be a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, I just trying to think of how many times you see something in the big chest of Thieves Town.
If I were to throw out a figure, it'd be a pure ballpark. 10% maybe. Now we got a piece of heart in Skullwoods. Nice hookshot through the spike. Very cool. Well, these Gibdos are a pain in the neck.
Oh, and especially since they will. Oh!
That should be fine. He'll just start back where he came in from. No problem. That may have actually been intentional.
It may have been, and Gibdos are also just kind of interesting. A lot of enemies respond to the hookshot for getting stunned. Gibdos, though, it's the boomerang, and just that's a tough one.
So weird. I hate that guy. He's like the only guy in this game that does his job remotely well. One guy.
All right, and we are getting our first look into Village of Outcasts. There's 3 items. There are 3 items, and then there's also Thieves Town as well.
We have not seen any form of progression for some time.
All right, and it does look like that was. It does sound like that was indeed planned.
Yeah, he was low health. It's either take the hand and go back with 1 heart, or take a death and go back with more. For a hard seed, this is pretty healthy.
Absolutely, we're 40 minutes in, and we're already at a full row of hearts.
Being real stingy too. Once we got here, the Dark World is sort of kind of empty. We're gonna find something soon because we know nothing is in pod. Something has got to be somewhere along the route here. Be it here or in Hype Cave. Something's got to give soon. Something has got to give.
Right, and catfish wasn't anything. I guess there's Hype Cave.
There is Hype Cave. You see Johnny Two Bombs over in Hype Cave. Vortex having a little bit more trouble with Mothula than KillerApp, but I think he'll be fine. Jeez, a little bit careful. You don't want to get hit by those rings. Those rings do more damage than the spikes. But those spikes do 1 damage no matter what armor you're in. He's being real ornery here. There we go, we got him. Nice.
All right.
Very
well
good.
Done.
Oh, there's a small key. You don't want to see that.
Uh-oh. But there's the flute.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad. It's a shame we don't have the mirror. You could just activate it upon leaving. I don't expect a KillerApp to leave here as Save and Quit, come here and activate it. He'll probably walk over to Hype Cave first. He may even go to pod. If he finds nothing else anyway.
Right, but this is also, I mean, what if Thief Town also does have that mirror somewhere? Now I haven't been, have we found both the map and compass yet so far though?
In Thieves Town?
One of them, yeah, in Thieves Town.
No, we have not. We have found a flute, a big key, a small key. And I did miss the 4th one. It was $5. Okay, thank you, Scoopy. So we've got 2 items down, 2 to go. Vortex is leaving. Skullwood's feeling a bit disappointed. There's a compass. Sweating a little bit.
Ooh, that's a good point. If there's a book, could mirror be on pedestal?
It depends on where the hammer is. Because if we don't find the hammer before Tower of Hera, then you need the mirror to get to it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But we'll
I don't know what our stun prize is yet.
Oh yeah, I don't think we've seen our stun prize quite yet.
Alright, piece of heart. If blind has the map, then that chest is gonna be live rent free in these guys' head. Something to worry about. But we'll see. Vortex hasn't gone into Thieves' Town yet. Not sure if he's made the decision to go with or without the hammer. We'll see in just a moment here.
And Flint and Steel are a good match. Thank you, Blind. Blind always giving us a nice quip, a nice pun. Does get off script though a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're ad-libbing here. He's got a cape for safety and that red potion. He should be fine. And done. Taken care of. But does he have the map? Uh-oh!
Ooh. Alright, but that is crystal number 3, though, for Killer App. Well done.
Yep. Well, we'll see if Vortex leaves after the first 4, or if he decides to commit like Killer App does, because if he doesn't leave, he'll be in the same situation, at least. There's nothing worse than Pendant Thieves' Town, though. I'd rather leave an item behind than Thieves' Town be a pendant. Because it's such an axiomatic dungeon. You do it the same way every time, regardless of when you're going through it. True. You just pick up everything along the way.
And KillerApp is going to give us our first look at the dig game. What are you thinking? Higher than 15 or lower?
1.
I'm thinking in 17.
Okay. Sometimes you gotta go for the gusto.
I mean, whenever it is a 1, you know, that does feel pretty good.
One time I got a 1 dig that was a shovel. I stood and looked at my camera for like 30 seconds.
Whoa! But
big time.
Those Titans mitts, that's a find.
Especially with the flute, because now, well, we need a medallion. But once we find a medallion, that could put Misery Mire into logic. It does put the Mire area in there. We have the flute, we have the Titan's Mitt. We can get there.
And it does give the start of... it does also give the start of the Jeremiah World Tour.
I like this play. You can pick up the frog, and then when you go to activate your flute, you can turn him in. This is fine.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you get to make a good number of checks along the way. If you find Mirror along the way, and you want to continue with the Smith Chain, then great, you still have K45 to check.
Through Smith Chain without the flute or a hammer is such a pain in the neck. But I'll have half of it done here, with the benefit of wanting to activate the flute to go along with it. Now, where you go with the flute is a matter of opinion, because you can go to the Mire area, check 2 checks, get the Mire medallion information, or you can go to Dark Death Mountain with the hookshot, get the Turtle Rock information, and more checks.
Right,
it is a longer climb, though.
There's going to be a lot. I think this is going to be a major point of divergence, and there's a fire rod.
Yeah, we were in Johnny Two Bombs, Hype Cave Speakeasy right here. Johnny Two Bombs is your hookup. But he got nothing today. Johnny, you holding out, man. What's going on? Hype cave is not hype.
But that was, you know, it might have been a ho-hum cave, but
yeah,
you know, it's just a little bit of equipment there.
Yeah, you got a little shield and that's it. protection from the fire. Could be handy.
And you know, it is the best. It is the best shield in the game. Not only is it the we're not going to find the mirror shield, but we're not going to get the lag associated with the mirror shield as well.
And it's just purely a matter of opinion. That mirror shield is such an eyesore. Yellow? Ugh, come on. I know it's supposed to be gold, but it's yellow. It looks terrible. What do you want me to tell you?
And Vortex is on the blind fight right now. Looks to be getting a little bit off script as well.
Yep.
But overall, I think this part of the fight's going a little bit smoother. And opting to go for the cape just to get that assurance.
Again, I respect it. No need to die here when you got the equipment.
Yeah, but we'll be getting the bad news that there is something in the big chest.
All right. Well, we got our flute active. Where do we go after this? Let's see if the smith has anything. There are a bunch of hammers hanging up on the wall. Maybe he can spare one.
Right, unless it just has to be certified, you know, for adventuring, and they're just bombsmiths today.
Now it's done. No need to worry about it.
But at least with the benefit of having that flute, now you can just fly away and go start checking the desert area. So I like this because you can check desert ledge, you can check Agina, which is
Agina's cave. There you go.
If Agina had hammer. If we didn't have to do Aga.
I don't know. The sea was definitely pointing us there. The chances that hammer is in here would be. It would be a real case of shenanigans. I'll tell you that. Nope.
And it's just a heart container.
No, we got row number 2 though.
Yep, and Vortex also does pick up that Titan's mitts as well. So we'll see where Vortex goes with them. Probably start the Smith chain, but we'll see. And is indeed heading that way.
Yeah, picking up the frog and going back and deliver him with the flute. It is the most efficient way. We're gonna see the the Swamp of Sorrows. Without any medallions here, can't get in there. Although if we did find the relevant Misery Mire medallion, we can go in. And with this level of health, it is ether. Are we leaving the key on the doorstep?
And not today.
Nope, we are not. So I think the only thing that's left is probably the Dark Death Mountain. And Pod, which KillerApp has not done.
Right, which we know isn't anything, but looks like KillerApp will be doing Dark Death Mountain, which will be the play.
Yeah. Even though having done Pod, with KillerApp doing Zora, as well as some other things, Vortex is just a small step behind him. Does have less health, but he's not lagging that far behind.
Right. I mean, and it's also interesting because they've crossed each other's steps a couple of different times. I think right now the main difference is the pod dip. I think right now that is the difference that's separating our runners right now.
Pretty much. If KillerApp ever decides to do that, that would be, considering where Vortex is in relation to KillerApp, it would be a pretty big boon to him. To Vortex, that is. You expect to find flippers up here?
Do we find flippers up here? I think we find progression in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah. I'm expecting flippers. Boots would be nice. Some kind of footwear. But right now we have no medallion, so there's no way to go into any of these dungeons.
Although Mirror would give Hera access.
That is true.
So, and hey, that would be a nice progression, you know, just go straight. You know, you're already up here, you can do Mire. That'd be a nice chain of events.
You do Mire with Ether. We're about to find out. Something's got to give. Can't do Spike Cave without the hammer. There's the mirror.
There's the mirror.
You called it.
And Killer is going to go grab that half magic.
Without Bombos and the necessity to do Ice Palace, yeah, I'd probably be doing the same thing right now.
Yes, and you still have, you still have a lot of the seed to go. You might as well go through a lot of the seed with that. We are getting, and Vortex is checking out what was on Mushroom. And there is that half magic for KillerApp. And it's just 10 arrows.
Alright, so this leaves progression in one of, I believe, 3 possible spots. We have South of Grove Cave, we have Graveyard Ledge, and now Tower of Hera. The Tower of Hera is a pendant. It's also right here. So this is the most efficient course of action, I believe.
Yeah, I
decided to go right up the mountain after activating his food.
Yeah, I'm all right with this play. You're already here. It's a relatively, it's a quicker dungeon.
We also have purple chest. That's correct.
Oh man, and fortunately, Vortex will be picking up that mirror as well pretty soon.
We're setting up for a Hera pot, in which you clip into this pot, fall down, and go to the top floor through the portal underneath.
Nice little elevator.
This is an interesting trick because there's so many variations in the way it can be done.
Oh yeah, with the bomb setup, with the bomb plus the boot setup.
Not just that, it's like positioning. I've seen at least 5 different ways of doing it.
Ooh, and there's a small key there. So that's going to be, that'll be a little bit more interesting.
I don't think it's a good idea to skip the basement in this. There's only a few mirror checks and purple chests you can look at. There's not a lot of places you look for progression, although KillerApp doesn't really know that since he hasn't been to Pod.
All right, and it is Quake needed for Turtle Rock.
Which KillerApp did not check.
Right, and we might see it, we might not see it. It is. There's a lot you can do in Turtle Rock though right now.
You can pretty much go through the whole dungeon except for Trinex. You can get Mimic Cave along with it, but you can't get in without the hammer.
Ah, you're right. You're right.
This hammer's being a real pain in the neck.
And Vortex is also going to go pick up that half magic.
Ah, you gotta fall.
Uh-oh. Moldworm is, Moldworm won't take a lot of hearts from you, but by golly, he will,
He'll take your time away.
Right, having to restart the fight every single time you fall is, that's tough.
That was a good distance knockback, too. I think that was like right toward the edge there. Perfect distance. Second attempt, much cleaner.
There we go, well done. And there's the boots. That is, that's going to be a nice pickup.
That opens up 2 more checks that we haven't seen.
And hey, when you got to go fast, you got to go fast.
You got to go fast.
All right, and we'll opt to ignore basement.
Oh, he lands on the pink ball. Oh, what a nuisance.
Oh, no.
This bottle check is not in logic because we have gotten that because of... Actually, it is in logic now with the mirror because there was one on Spectacle Rock. There was nothing there anyway. But it's best to get out of the way.
Right.
Now, starting at Sanctuary, he's going to check King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks. And if we don't find... I'm sorry.
And Vortex will also be getting that Meyer information right there.
He didn't do Tower of Hera. He did not get his boots. But he will be going to Desert Palace.
That's true. This is going to be So this is going to be interesting.
It's funny. It's funny how both are missing a piece of the puzzle. One decided to go to Desert Palace without the boots. The other one got the boots, but didn't go to Desert Palace. Well, yet.
Well, and and just thinking, like, if the because when do you reclimb Death Mountain to do a pendant dungeon? And if we're boots locked, we could still be boots locked. This is our first look into Desert Palace.
We are boots locked softly. This next chest will tell the whole story.
That is not a great feeling. And we are boots locked.
That's an even worse feeling. Oh, there's a few more places to check with the mirror. This looks like he was going to steal the key, but thought better of it.
But we'll also, and actually we're going to get almost simultaneous checkerboard checks.
This could have the progression. It does not. KillerApp opting to leave because he has enough. So does Vortex, apparently. He's very comfortable with his level of health.
And there are plenty of checks still to make.
True.
But
KillerApp is going to get Desert Palace done with the boots.
So then, what do we find in Desert?
Ether. I'm expecting to see Ether.
Or what if we found Quake?
Well, that wouldn't mean anything since you still can't get into Turtle Rock without the Bloody Hammer.
Ah, you're right. You're right. Well, we should find soon.
The seed was really nice at the beginning, and usually seeds that are very top-heavy are very stingy with the items at the end. I shouldn't say the end yet. We're solidly in the mid-game here. There's Bombos. So I called the wrong medallion. That does nothing except make Ice Palace slightly easier.
And KillerApp is gonna go check the boss to see if that's where the second item will be.
Anytime you can skip the big chest it's a good day. Looks like Vortex is going to get the purple chests. Depending on what's in there, that could regain him a lot of momentum here. Actually, no, he's skipping it. He's just going right to the mirror locations.
Okay.
He might be doubling back for it, though. We'll see. The following the mirror is the right answer, I feel.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Follow the mirror. It gives you a lot. And there's the ice rod.
May or may not be necessary.
That's always a fun item to pick up, you know, an hour in.
I don't want to keep talking about red flags, but I mean, we're not there yet. We can't even open Turtle Rock. For all we know, Quake is in GT.
A really nice 2-cycle, though, from KillerApp. And the second item is bomb refill.
So no progression in here.
And I think Vortex is now going back to pick up that purple chest along the way. And let's see where KillerApp flies to. Oh, okay. All right. So we're actually also going to get a magic bat check right here, which normally you need a hammer to get to, but you can also mirror from the Dark World. That's always a fun way.
I see why Vortex routed the way he did. It's so he can go do the mirror check without having to go through the portal again. That's why he opted to go the mirror first.
That makes I like that. That makes a good amount of sense.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get back to your portal after jumping in, because it would be locked behind that hammer.
All right. And now you can just fly to 7 and then do a quick turn in of that chest. Sure, you have to walk the way. You can't. You have to hoof it, but it's all right. Unfortunately, that's not our answer.
I believe this puts progression in Graveyard Ledge, doesn't it?
At this point, I think so. I think so, yeah. Because we did get a check of King's Tomb. But yeah, I think this does have to be Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, we got a Gina's Cave, we got all of Desert. We got everything else.
Although, will it be Hammer or will it be Flippers?
Could be a shovel.
shovel to
Could be Ether.
a book to have to take care of the tablets. That would be rough.
There's a number of things it could be, but I think right at this point, it has to be progression.
Right, and I think you do want to see Hammer here.
Actually, I'm wrong. There is one other place progression could be. Hera Basement.
Ooh. But there's the water toes. We got the flippers.
There's the flippers. That sends you directly into Ice Palace. Or the first check in Swamp.
Ooh. And now I know we had a qualifier where the first check in Swamp was the hammer.
I'm being told that both items were found in Tower Ferris, so no.
Oh, okay.
I made it sound all dramatic, like only to be saying, "Hey, you're wrong again." Who is this guy? Why is he on commentary? Who let this guy in here? Is he even paying attention? We know that the boot's in there though. So.
And while we're on the subject, we'd like to thank our tracker Scrupula for keeping us honest as well. Thank you very much. But yeah, this is also going to be tricky for Vortex. Just without having those boots, KillerApp will be able to get things done much quicker. I don't think KillerApp has checked Bunkrox yet, though.
I believe he has. He hasn't checked. Yeah, he hasn't checked this cave yet, so that's why he's headed this direction instead of going right to Ice Palace. Or maybe he plans to check Swamp first. Oh, never mind. He doesn't have the hammer. He's checking Swamp Palace. But he is... Alright, he is doubling back for this cave. Alright. He just juked me by being indecisive.
Alright, and Vortex is about to get the bad news of that collectible limited edition arrow.
I hate that bush. I always forget I can't hookshot onto that bush. Drives me crazy. Looks like we are going to see the first chest in Swamp Palace first.
We are. Alright.
KillerApp is just hard avoiding Pod. There's so much that could be in Pod, but he's willing to do this before Pod. Vortex is going to check Bridge Hobo. And then maybe head into Ice Palace from there. We'll get a first look at it, because nobody's checked it yet. Not even a sequence break.
And I actually do, and I like Vortex's route here. And whoever finds the hammer first is going to be in pretty good shape. I think.
Yeah.
At this point.
Either way, hammer being here or an ice palace, neither of those are a great deal. Well, it's not here. Hammer and ice palace. That stinks.
Yeah. Man under the bridge does not have that hammer, so this is going to be the race who gets to Ice Palace first. And this is actually a very close race between the two. Although KillerApp is probably going to check Hobo first.
Yes, and he is ahead by a whole dungeon as well as the boots.
And that's a good point.
This will be far easier to route with the red cane, though, thanks to the newly discovered icebreaker glitch. Supplanting the old, tried and true, but still relevant Ice Palace bomb jump.
You know, whenever you have to do Ice Palace without that cane, I mean, it's super handy. And this is an interesting.
Whoa, that was clean. Whoa, that was.
Well, today I learned how to take care of that room with just bombs.
That was elegant. I liked it.
That is a good point. Now, KillerApp is probably going to be making the right call. Is probably going to be able to save themselves the time of going it of being able to avoid pod, except maybe for the medallion hunt.
Well, finding the hammer in here will send you directly back into Swamp Palace. And I think you chase crystals before you start chasing pendants. Although Hammer might not even be in here. There's still a chance Ether is gonna be in here and Hammer is in Misery Mire.
Ooh, that's a fair point. And we are gonna see some Ice Palace bomb jumping.
Oh, because you know what? You can't get the
know
small
the hammer.
key. You can't get the small key. Oh, that's a pain in the neck. Oh boy. You could scum the key from that jelly in the spike room and then do it.
Yeah, but overall, so yeah, we will not be seeing Icebreaker today. But that was still really clean for Vortex. Just 2 bomb jump attempts.
Yes. It's so rare you come into Ice Palace without the hammer. You forget sometimes. We're just gonna do this the classic way.
And a nice hook shot into the stairs. And
there we go. KillerApp got it after a few more attempts than Vortex, but oh, Madonna, he took a fall. What? Oh no! You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
And it's still a tricky. Oh, but down to 2 hearts.
I think he's got it. He's got it. He's got that red potion still in his stash too.
All right, and does make it through.
Yeah.
Well done.
It was purchased for Skull Woods. It was used for Ice Palace.
And to be fair, Ice Palace is definitely it's a tricky dungeon. And fortunately, both of our runners do have half magic as well. And that's why Vortex was hemming and hawing, because remember, he didn't have the big key to open the chest.
Really making it put in the work for the progression in here. Ew.
It does have to be a little cautious, down to 3.5 hearts, just getting through that doorway. But there we go. And Killer App just going straight to the boss room.
Forgetting it doesn't have the hammer, huh? Oh,
just
boy.
remembered.
At least he can leave. I just hear him screaming from here. Oh my gosh. That'll put you on tilt. That's not fun. But, you know, he's here. I expect him to commit to the dungeon.
Right, and this is a tough. I mean, this is a tough kind of spot to be in. In hammerless, you can't complete this dungeon yet.
Right. It just goes back to show you that it's so rare that you are in here without the hammer. That finally, when you get in here, you just go through the motions as if you do.
And there is a key. So there's the key.
Yeah, we could have icebreaker just fine.
But it still doesn't feel good.
No, but this is this chest here is the last chest that could possibly have anything in this dungeon. And there's our hammer. And there's our hammer. Wow, what a place for it. Oh my gosh.
Oh my.
Oh.
This Ice Palace is...
And they made them work for that hammer in this dungeon.
This is a how well do you know Ice Palace?
It's true.
And it's had you had to go so many different routes. It's
So with the risk of giving a personal anecdote, me playing Zelda Randomizer, I have never seen the hammer be in Ice Palace. And it's just funny to me, seeing it here, the one time I decided to do commentary for this game.
Well, then it's a perfect time then, isn't it?
It is, and I hope that this absolves me of happening to me ever.
It is not a fun feeling.
4 years of random, never seen it happen.
All right, and Vortex is going to go turn that anti-fairy into a fairy. That's a good call. And when you have the cane, you don't have to worry about you just have to get down here. You don't have to worry about.
Right. He's got the benefit of half magic, which is, I believe this dungeon is specifically the reason it was picked up. KillerApp will have a little bit of an edge in the Bombos medallion. That'll save him a little bit of magic for the fight.
And using sword beams in a very, very efficient manner to be able to reduce the amount of magic Vortex had to do in order to break the ice. That was well done.
Yes. And
down goes Cold Stare.
Cold Stare is down. Ooh, KillerApp doing a little bit of self-sabotage. Taking a little extra damage from some anger being taken out on that chest that had the hammer. But if I were him, I'd be relieved to see it. It means he doesn't have to come back.
Right, this is we are done with this. We're done with Ice Palace. You've conquered Ice Palace. I mean, that's well done.
All right, now that we have the hammer, now where do you go? Well, you go to Swamp. The answer is Swamp. Swamp is now fully completable.
Swamp is completable. You still need to make, and unfortunately, and we know, unfortunately, Vortex is probably going to be full clearing Swamp. I mean, then both of our runners at this point will be still full clearing. We still don't have the right medallion.
Right. We are looking for ether and ether only. Ether is the last important item we need to find.
But eventually, Vortex is going to have to make his way back up to Tower of Hera for the boots, for the pendant boots.
We're opting to not use Bombos. A fewer fire rod shots, but it doesn't look like that's going to bother him very much.
But those Cold Stare does hurt. Does hit pretty hard. But down goes Cold Stare. Very well done.
No problem. Oof, what an Ice Palace that was, huh?
that was one heck of an ice palace.
That was some crazy Ice Palace adventure. I don't think I've...
And honestly, for this, that was excellent routing as well.
Yeah. It was certainly labyrinthine. We saw a lot of fluctuation in how it was done. I think Vortex at one point mirrored to go back and do Icebreaker. Only to find the small key in the Icebreaker room chest. The one that I believe could save Vortex at this point is if he checks left side swamp, and that's where Ether is, and KillerApp doesn't. The only other way I could see Vortex catching up is an immediate Hera play upon doing everything he's able to do, and not checking anything else that's superfluous.
Right. And keeping in mind, KillerApp also has Pod to explore, which we know has nothing. Vortex knows has nothing. KillerApp doesn't necessarily, but not necessarily KillerApp.
Right. And there's still the specter of that Thieves Town big chest.
Oh yeah, you wonder how big that's looming now.
Well, obviously you go to Swamp first.
That's it. The dungeon that you can complete.
Yes. But how far? How much do you go? Especially if you find a map. Do you go left?
It looks like Vortex will indeed be going left. And we'll be able to pull off another nifty trick. The diver down trick. Where you go, oh no, you flooded the key. How could this have happened?
Setting up the bomb trigger for the bricks. And he likes his positioning there. Struggling to get comfortable with that brick. And it's not cooperating.
Yeah, because generally you want to get, that's a good position. Because yeah, you generally want to get it about halfway in between.
There you go. You got it. And click goes the brick. We got our key.
And now you're walking on water. Until you're not.
You gotta swim across. Swimming is fun. I like swimming. It's so refreshing.
Well, that's an interesting way of getting through that that section right there that Vortex just went.
It's flashy. It's a little bit faster, but sometimes you get stuck and have to walk through the room again.
And hey, but you know, it gives it that, you know, certain amount of swag, you know.
Looks cool. Turop getting a little bit ahead of himself with that bomb. It's gonna create a lot more lag for this water fill. Alright, so left side swamp has nothing. Well, it doesn't have what we need.
But KillerApp also getting down that diver down as well. And we'll also be checking left side. So, even though, so at least if KillerApp skipped left side, then that would be a predicament for Vortex at least.
So if we find Quake, that's pretty dangerous. Quake will really send both of these runners for a loop, I think. So you find Quake, and suddenly Turtle Rock is in the mix.
And you can do Turtle Rock. You've got there's Ether.
There we go. Seed has been solved. Turtle Rock is not necessary today. And once KillerApp finds that, he'll know that, and he'll just breeze right through Misery Mire, and then he should be finishing up. Unless, you know, he really wants that third sword.
I mean, tempered versus Master Sword. That's I mean, that's significant. I mean, but yeah, I think I think both of our runners are comfortable enough. As tedious as Master Sword Silverless Ganon is, and it is tedious, but
you got to do it.
Yeah. The question is, will Vortex go back up to Tower of Hera to beat Moldorm to get those boots that are required for Desert?
After finding the hammer and ether, I believe it's quite unlikely that happens. I don't want to rule them out just yet. But I gotta say, it's not looking good. Some really clean spin strats here on Argus. Getting lots of 2-for-1s.
Good bargain. All right, almost gets the quick kill. There we go.
That's a relatively quick kill. First phase was very, very clean. And that could have been a bow, that could have been armor, we'll never know.
But either way, it is our 5th crystal.
KillerApp getting a little bit unlucky with his pulls here.
But this is definitely one place where if you find Tempered Sword, this also just becomes a little bit less stressful.
That was our second red crystal, so we are going to see what's in Pyramid Fairy now. We know it won't be necessary, but we're going to see what's there.
And there's one spin. And down goes Argus. There we go.
Playing it safe for some range strats. And we do have that Agra portal.
And that is the 6th crystal for KillerApp.
The worst part about this game are the things you have to wait for. Like that. Whatever you're standing around waiting for something to happen, feels bad. KillerApp is getting some potion refills with Master Sword and Vitreous looming. I wonder if he realizes his bomb count is really low.
Oh, that's a good point. And you do need bomb, and you do need at least one bomb.
Right. Well, he's got at least one bomb. I haven't seen many bomb drops come from enemies today.
It's definitely been quiet. But both of our racers are entering Mire right now. Simultaneously entering Mire, in fact.
Yeah. With those boots, KillerApp is going to pull a little bit ahead.
Well, and Vortex is going to be looking for those boots as well, so...
That is really unfortunate. That Hera play changed the dynamic of this whole race. What a jerk that Fireball was. Why can't you be on top where you normally are? See? It's helping Vortex out. There you go. He knows he needs more help right now. I respect it.
Guess the good news is it could still be a Godmire. We'll see. Nope, it is just a bunch of keys.
Well, not the right keys either. We're gonna have to go digging for it.
Which probably benefits Vortex a little bit, just because both of our runners will be checking for have to delve deeper in. So KillerApp might end up they might both be getting both items just on the way just to find the big key.
Could be. We could see another sword in here. That's really the only thing of significance we can see. Quake would be a disastrous find for Vortex right now.
That would be rough. That would be pretty bad. That would be rough.
Another safety and a fairy in a bottle.
Which you like to see, you know, both before Vitreous and before the Ganon Tower climb.
Right. With a blue potion and that fairy, KillerApp should be pretty comfortable with his ability to tackle some bosses now. And there's our big key.
And it was about as buried as you could get.
Without being completely buried. I'll think for that magic refill. Probably so we can do cape strats. Finding a compass in the cutscene, you never want to see that.
Yeah, that just doesn't feel good.
It's so demoralizing. Like, we wait all that. Like, it's like I said, the things you wait for are the worst parts, and then you find nothing because of it. He's had that happen to him twice now, and he has to walk without these boots.
Well, and then again, and KillerApp's mind is at ease at this point, but because there was the Thieves' Town big chest, which we don't know what it is. We just know that it's not needed to beat the game at this point.
Exactly.
But yeah, this definitely was, you know, because KillerApp never touched Pod.
Never went in. Never bothered with it. Green pendant at all, even after finding the hammer.
Right. I mean, and Pod definitely, with the number of items it has, it's not a frequent. It usually does have at least something.
There's some questions in chat about the boots. Boots is required for desert, which is a crystal. So Vortex will need those one way or the other.
Right. And for Ganon's Tower, there is one check that requires the boots. So
yeah, the chances of finding boots on that torch is about the same chance as rolling a 1 on a 20-sided die, which is appropriate.
Just as likely to be there as it is on the tower room.
So if you throw that block up from the door, that will land solidly on that button, which is a pretty easy way to do that in the dark.
I'm gonna have to remember that trick.
Vortex also set up a spooky action, it looked like, because I heard a click. Or I felt a click coming from, Yep, got it, nice and clean.
Well done.
Yes, I've never been able to get that. Good job, Vortex.
And KillerApp is on his way up to Ganon's Tower, so I think now is a great time to play the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game.
See them numbers, what you got?
Let's see.
1 through 22. 21? 22.
I'm gonna think. You know, I'm gonna go 1.
You know, 1?
Might as well, you know, we're, you know, feeling lucky.
Well, you stole my answer. I can't guess 2 now, because that would be bad.
I mean, tell you what, I'll guess 8. I'll change my guess to 8.
No, you guessed first. Nah. You get to pick one.
I always go 8. I was just.
All right, fine. Have it your way. If you want to change your answer, I'm picking 1 then.
The bot is not cooperating, so it does. Yeah, unfortunately, the bot is not cooperating for doing this, and Vortex is back at the beginning.
Disappointing. Oh well, I'm still guessing 1.
It's all right. We will be having another broadcast immediately after this race. And so we can have another chance to get the very real internet points. And KillerApp goes towards hope chests first.
Woo! Yeah!
And that is what a Gainus Tower. That was big key, small key.
Give me Yapapai Indian punishment strap number 1!
Why bother mirroring? That's a hopeful chest right there. That is something.
Ooh, alright. That's an apology for those boots being in Tower Hera, huh? Or that hammer being an ice palace.
Alright, and I think Vortex is now gonna go check that Thieves Town big chest.
Ouch. And there was a small key in that room too for the double deuce. Let's go.
Right, it was everything. That was the key, and my goodness, that was
that's the GT dream right there.
Alright, and KillerApp starting that gauntlet.
Once again, I was about to say half magic is going to pay dividends here, but with full magic drops coming from these things over here, you may not even need it.
Ooh, yep, and they're down go the red Stalfos are the ones that really they're the ones that will trip me up definitely a lot. But yeah, KillerApp making some good work of this gauntlet.
The benefit of the red Stalfos is that they don't burn; they just evaporate with the fire rod. Commentator's curse. There you go.
Oh. Well, and this is okay. This is precarious. Opting to go just with the.
That cape is also dangerous because it takes a little bit to be active before you can use it. You can't get it. You can't get it active right on the first frame.
But well done, and now we'll be able to switch to powder. There's a parry.
This does mess with the pattern for Moldorm 2, though. You see, they'll come out at the exact same time, making this fight a little more tricky to handle with one cycle.
Alright, and Vortex going through Thieves Town. Nice thing is, at least you don't have to recheck the attic.
True, but
does have to be a little bit careful though on hearts.
Should be fine going through there. It's very little light resistance going to the big chest from here.
And there's satisfying Wizrobe, room number 1. Because the Cane of Samari will take them out very quickly. And there is satisfying Wizrobe kill number 2.
What a useful tool that red cane is.
My goodness, it just with how flexible it is. And let's see what's in Thieves Town big chest. It's the other cane.
Well, that's gotta feel bad. And Vortex is apparently going to go back and clean up Pod for that green pendant. Meanwhile, KillerApp is keeping his fingers crossed for another sword here. Oh, he better land this, because this is his only bomb.
And nails it.
Ooh.
That was close.
Yeah. Well, there are bombs in that room you can pick up, so he would have had another chance still. It's the kind of thing that makes you sweat.
Right. It's.
Oh, whoa, what a jerk! Just bum rushed him off the ledge.
Moldorm just doing his best. Well, and probably getting revenge, for because Moldorm wanted those boots. Yeah, they were custom ordered.
Were those the Dior's?
All right, and
all right, second verse same as the first. One fall, and yeah, we got our bomb back. We got our bombs back, so Killer App will not be ending on 0.
but this is going to be interesting because this is going to be Master Sword Silverless.
Well, you say you say interesting, but what you mean is boring. I kid.
to win.
I kid.
Playing spin to win. Phase 2 is the tough one.
Get a load of Dr. Isosceles over here. Sheesh. Patterns are not forgiving. There you go. It's a straight line. It's diagonal, but it's a straight line. Oh, that.
Recovers to get the 1. That is not great timing for that blue ball. But that is a great double to finish it off, and on towards Ganon. All right, and Killer App falls down into the Ganon fight. You think you're so smart? You didn't know you couldn't hum while holding your nose closed.
You can. Don't bother trying.
I mean, I think that's why Ganon says it to have everyone, at home, like just try to do that.
Right. He wants to see you be a jerk. It's stupid. Sure, I'm going for the trident clicks, but not quite getting it. We got 1, but not 2, and these positions are not exactly favorable for this fight.
Right. This has been Ganon's doing his best to stay safe, but does get to phase 2. Got to be careful though, because those
they'll hurt.
That fire will do 4 hearts of damage each. Does have a fairy.
Yeah,
does
and
take a hit.
There you see the cape not being able to be activated right away coming into play. You have to be really, really prepared to use that cape.
Yeah, that's tough. Vortex does get the green pendant though. GG.
An unfortunate mirror bonk. So Killer App does have a blue potion. Still, he has to be a little conservative for his magic. He is taking a lot of health loss here. He may end up having to use it before we get to the last phase.
And the green pendant just for a piece of heart.
Vortex is really floundering right now. It's not a good look. Alright, we have made it into the next phase.
Phase 3, where Ganon will, no matter what kind of sword you use, well, except for fighter sword, will basically drop part of the floor.
It looks like Vortex is finally going to Tower of Hera and finally get his boots.
Yeah. And did you find the arrows on Planet Zebes?
I've heard it both ways.
It does get that torch glitch though, so now it's just
switching for the fire rod, hoping for some triples.
And 22 spins left to go out of the 24 that you need. And Vortex is doing Spike Cave.
Oh, I thought it was doing Hera. The blue cane did lead him up here.
Yeah, and Spike Cave is a good check. It's one of those, of course it's going to be here, but it's going to be bombs. Fortunately, does have enough magic with that half magic, can get back out and go into Hera next.
So the way this Ganon fight works with his vulnerability after the torch being lit, the amount of flashes that he does before appearing solid affects the duration of the vulnerability before he teleports away. So if you hit that torch at the moment he starts flashing, you're more likely to hit a spin with the active frames. Whereas if you hit it late in the flashing cycle, he won't be as vulnerable and you may turn him blue.
That is interesting. I did not know that. and Vortex does make it into Hera.
You could also, if you also get on the first flash, you may actually miss the spin because he flashes for so long. And that'll do it.
That is 24 spins. Get your GGs in chat as KillerApp prepares to cross the most dangerous bridge in the game.
Don't fall. And over the bridge he goes. 142.53.
Congratulations to KillerApp for taking game 1. GG, and GG Vortex of Doom as well. That was that is a tough boots location.
It is indeed. And that decided the entire game. After that, it was just spiraled out of control.
All right, and we are joined with KillerApp. GG. Congrats on the win.
Good game, sir.
So how did you feel about finding those boots?
I don't hear KillerApp. Is he speaking?
I think I was muted, but
yeah. Ah, there you are. Hey.
Right. Yeah, those boots. I guess if it wasn't the hammer, I'm glad it was the boots.
Well, it kind of was the hammer too. That was a really, really nasty location for that hammer. I saw you getting a little bit angry when you found it.
It was just going to be in pod because I really don't, even though it was a pen, I really don't go into pod if I have access to the left-hand side of Dark World.
Vortex finally finding his boots. Yeah,
but,
it
was a breadcrumb seed for sure.
Yeah, you were avoiding pod like crazy. Like even after Aga, it was clearly a split 50-50 choice about whether to go to pod or whether to go across. But with Hookshot and Fire Rod pointing in the direction of Skull Woods, it seems like you made the correct choice because Vortex did do pod and found nothing in there. So you lucked out on that one.
And Vortex has will not finish the seed, but does get those boots. Does get the last boots. So
put him in go mode. Put him in go mode. So there you go.
Yeah, it probably would have been pretty close if we had done the same routing after Ag, I would think. So that's what because I pretty much full cleared other than pod.
Yep. And we are joined by Vortex of Doom. GG to you, and what a seed.
Yeah, that seed was certainly with the location of the boots and the location of the hammer.
Flippers too, those were in a crappy spot.
That's true.
Yeah, we were remarking about how Ice Palace requires such clean execution and kind of going through Ice Palace like all the different ways just to get everything. That was well done by both of you.
Yeah, the item and key layout was pretty rough. You could have just done Icebreaker, but I've done that in the past where I've gone in there looking for a hammer, did the Icebreaker, and there was no small key to get through the locked door, so I took a mirror about and go the home around. But yeah, you never know.
I might have just done it anyway, forgetting that I didn't have the hammer because I'm not in there with it very often.
Right.
Without it, I should say. So, Vortex, my fellow spiralist thing, you had a choice upon finishing Aga to go north across the river or to go into pod, and that was one of the major deviances between you and KillerApp. What made you decide to go to pod first?
And I think you might be muted. Oh, there we go.
There we are.
Is it... Okay, that better?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so usually I'll go to pod. I was really iffy on it. I was about as iffy as I've ever been on pod. Right after Ega, no mirror, green pendant. But I decided to just stick to my guns.
Yeah.
I figured that if KillerApp did CAC first, might have done the fake flipper stuff, and I might have been to Dark World first, so I might have a little buffer. I didn't feel bad about it because I figured most people would probably check Hammerless Pod before Hammerless Ice when it came down to that, but sounds like he didn't.
Yeah, he definitely avoided it.
Yeah,
But
it was just, if I avoid it, I'm just probably not going to come back. If the hammer's there, I just lose because I did a whole bunch else before.
I mean, coming out of
in it, just like breadcrumbed into more checks.
Coming out of Aga, there were really no wrong decisions because you had the fire rod and the hook shot sending you over to the west, and you had bow and lamp sending you into pod. So it was really a coin flip.
Right.
There's really no wrong answer there, which is really kind of a problem when there's nothing in one of those locations.
And then,
That might have done very much the same.
When I got mirror, I was like, oh, there's a bottle on Spec Rock. I'm gonna go grab that. And then I don't know, maybe it was like because it was an Agaseed with pretty early mountain access, all that. I just sort of forgot I hadn't done Hera. I hadn't touched Hera, and I didn't remember it until I was already checking out Meyer area. And at that point, I knew that like basically anyone looking for Hammer would have done Hera there, if they were thinking about it. And so I just couldn't afford for the boots to be there, so that's why I hard last located it.
Yeah, I have to find the hammer you did going along the beaten path. I agree that is the right decision. You needed boots not to be there at that point, but it's unfortunate that's where they were.
My only serious regret, like I didn't feel too bad about it at first because I still had like all of Swamp. I still had a couple of checks here and there that I was like, well, cool, like that would probably just about make up for the pod play if boots aren't there and KillerApp checked it. So I just, was pretty committed to clearing everything else. And yeah, so I figured that it was the right choice. So you were Ether for Go then?
Yeah, Ether was my go.
Yeah. So that's nice. So I assume you skipped left side because you were one item from Go.
I actually went left side first because I had forgotten I had the big key because I dipped Swamp before I went into Ice, and that big key was in the first chest.
Oh.
So I got the map in the second one. I was like, well, might as well just do it in case like a big key shows up or something.
Yeah, I was gonna do Graveyard Ledge, then Kern Jump to Catfish and Zora stuff with fake flippers, and got bailed out by the flippers. Didn't have to watch me fail Kern Jump a dozen times on stream. Yeah, so I actually went down, did Cave 45 into Purple Chest and Magic Bat, which was really stupid. But I've had Hammer in Cave 45 recently, and I didn't really want to choose between Graveyard Ledge and Cave 45. Or Cave 45 and Magic Bat is more accurate. So I just was like, you know what, I'll just do a little extra walking, and
Right.
whatever will be, will be. But I didn't have flippers yet, so I couldn't dip Swamp. But it was between Ice and Swamp for me. And Hera, I guess.
All right. Well, thank you both very much for the race. GG to both of you, and best of luck in the rest of the tournament. We will actually be starting another race here in a couple minutes, so stay tuned. Thank you again so much. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Thank you, Scupula, for tracking. Do you have any final words, TJ?
Oh, it was a pleasure doing this commentary with you and watching this race. I had a great time, and I hope everybody else watching had a great time too. Stick around for the next race.